This is the Gigabyte RX 5700 non-XT model, but the XT model has the exact same layout, shroud, and all that good stuff. To take this GPU apart, you got your 4 main screws, of course, for the behind the GPU, and then there's 3 more in the back. But I wanted to show you guys something. I did repaste this GPU with some Thermal Grizzly's Cryonaut Extreme. You may see that and think, oh no, it's dry. That's bad thermal paste. That's actually the thermal paste that was on the side or spilled out around the GPU. And yes, it will be dry when the GPU is not working. But once it heats up, if I were to flatten that all out on the GPU die and then heat up the GPU to operating temperatures, that would become more viscous and help greatly with thermal dissipation. It wasn't the core that was the problem on this GPU, it was the memory, and as you can see, the thermal pads that are on here are pretty bad. Matter of fact, let me show you something real quick. So this manufacturer is known for using some really cheap thermal pads, and you can see on the back side here, there's some oil from the thermal pads actually on the back side of the PCB, between the back plate and the PCB, that's leaking down. And I need to clean that up with some alcohol. It's actually getting really close to the PCIe slot, so I'll clean that up. The thermal pads on the back side seems to be the same, like white, grayish, oily thermal pads that's on the actual heatsink. So the only ones I'm going to focus on replacing though are on the heatsink itself. We'll leave the ones on the back side alone for now. I do need to reapply some thermal paste, but these are 0.5 millimeter. Measure that out for y'all, and then these over here on the VRM MOSFET section is going to be 1 millimeter, just in case you need to get in there. To remove the back plate, you got 2 screws on the far side here, and then it looks like you got 2, maybe 3 more by the I/O. 1 here, 1 down here, and then those 2 as I mentioned. You might have to remove this screw right here. Let's see. Nope, you don't have to remove it. That's just holding in the I/O bracket. So it's really just 4 screws to remove the back plate, which is actually pretty good. So it's not too hard to tear down, between 4, 5, 6, 7 screws to remove the heatsink from the PCB, and then another 4 to get to the back plate. Obviously cleanup should be relatively easy. Don't forget your fan connectors and be very careful. You got 1 up here, 1 down there. Try not to break them. So let's just repaste, repad, and see how we can improve these thermals. Once again, I've been able to test and tune, play around with the GPU for the past couple days, the Gigabyte RX 5700 non-XT GPU, and personally, I'm just happy to have replaced those oily, crappy thermal pads. I won't have to deal with the oil residue on the backplate, PCB, and what have you. Now, we were able to improve thermals about 4 to 6 degrees Celsius and make the system more stable. Again, these interruptions that you see here at the top are more from me shutting down the system, working on various GPUs, so on and so forth. Now, ignoring the rest of the stuff, we're focusing on the Gigabyte card. We were hitting 100, 102C, depending on the day, depending on the evening. Obviously, during a cool night, we saw 98, 94. Actually, sitting where we're at right now at 94C on a cool night in Florida. The peak there, 102, 104 is what we were seeing with this GPU. Now, the thermal pads on the front side are very small. So, copper shim modding, in my opinion, wouldn't have been worth it. You probably want to go with the 0.2 millimeter copper shims if you did want to copper mod this card, but I didn't. I just replaced the stock thermal pads with some G-lid thermal pads. 0.5 millimeter is what you need. And you can see we dropped 6 to 4 degrees and made the car much more stable. Obviously, I can tune a little bit better for hash rate. Obviously, I'm having some issues here, but that is in the past video, because I'm recording this the same day with the 590. I'm having more issues, not only with Hive, seems to be like a service issue today, but also the clocks that I'm applying not really applying to the GPUs. But that's irrelevant. The biggest thing is at the same power draw, similar clocks are exact same clock, same fan speed. We have dropped 4 to 6 degrees Celsius, and this is one of those things that, again, you got to weigh out the pros and cons. If I did copper shim this GPU, being that it's so tiny, right,
2.5 millimeters or less. Would it be any benefits? The heatsink does have more surface area than the power color card, but I don't see you netting that much of an improvement over some decent thermal pads. And is it really worth it? You know, when you ever have to tear down this GPU again in the future, you're gonna have to clean up all that thermal paste and goop throughout the PCB, around the memory modules, and in between the memory modules, which can be a little bit cumbersome. So that's what I got as far as my improvements. Again, my goal was just to get it 24/7 stable, as I've been talking about in this series, but I just wanted to share my results with you because now that it's in a condensed or concealed area, thermals are rising across the board. If I can keep this AMD system, just like my Nvidia system, stable 24/7 uptime, then I am mint and I'm good. But that's going to do it for today's video. Please do me a favor on the way out, hit the like button. Don't forget to get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out links in the description that help support the channel. Like to dogelord.com. You can get some sweet Serpent X merch, one of my classic shirts right here. Get involved, mine crypto, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Take care.